Hello, my name is Akasa, and I'm a constant stream of consciousness. And today we will be discussing the gravity of emotion. So, I'm a Cancer stellium. It is my Sun, my Mercury, my Mars, and my Jupiter. And Cancer is associated with the Moon, the tides, the symbolic mother, the home life, emotions, and the feeling of comfort. So, allegedly, I should be emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence has to do with self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. However, I'm really bad at the management part. I'm pretty aware. I'm aware of self and I'm aware of others. I can often pick up on how someone feels. And sometimes I can navigate how that person is feeling. But I really don't know how to manage other people. And the worst of the worst, I don't know how to manage myself. My go to strategy is suppression. So I would also like to add I am a Leo moon. My moon is in Leo. And the reason I bring this up is because these Cancer and Leo are both luminary placements in astrology. Now, luminary, I think, even outside of astrological understanding, has to do with emitting light and how people gravitate towards them. And I think physics, astrophysically, like the sun and the moon have the greatest gravitational effect on the earth. The sun's gravitational pull causes our seasons, and the moon's gravitational pulls cause our tides. But the thing about the moon is that it's more subtle. So often people don't register that the moon has a major gravitational pull on us as well. Or I think something that people don't understand is that we are pulling on each other. The reason why one is considered more dominant is because they have the bigger mass. So we often think, oh, the earth pulls the moon. Yes, but the moon is also pulling on us. The same with the sun. The sun is pulling us, but we're also pulling the sun. Anyways, I wanted to say, just like the moon and how it subtly affects our nature, emotions have that same effect where emotions can shift the gravity in a room. And that's a feeling that I'm not comfortable with. I think it has to also do with my Mars in Cancer, where technically, yes, it's a tool that I have, but it can also be used as a weapon. And I don't like being perceived as manipulative, but technically, I have big emotions. And because, like Leo moon, and moon is associated with the sun, and the sun is the biggest planetary body. So I have big emotions. If I express myself as grand and as big as I want to, I could shift the whole room. And I'm not particularly comfortable with that feeling where it feels like I am now like invalidating a person because I just have that much mass about my emotions. But because it's suppression, suppression is another thing. Because technically, I restrict myself, and apparently, silent treatment is not an appropriate response to anger. And now you're acting like I'm being rude and manipulative, but I like, how else? Exactly. I don't know how to self manage my emotions, but like my go to, because I think it is technically the least harmful. It's neglect. Technically, it's like emotional neglect. I can acknowledge that when I decide to remove myself from a situation or give someone silent treatment, it's technically emotional neglect. But it's better than me lashing out at you, saying something like verbally abusive or like even like hitting you. And I don't like that. It's almost out of body for me. I'm just not comfortable with the amount of gravity my emotions have. And yeah, like I say it in my script, I'm like inherently emotionally manipulative because of my Cancer Mars, but that's how emotions work. When you express emotions, that is like a back and forth with a person, and that's like a shifting of gravity. And if you're not on footing, if you don't leave space for someone to have equal space and equal mass to your emotions, technically that could be considered emotional manipulation. And I don't think people understand that emotions are just inherently manipulative, but that's not particularly a bad thing. They have gravity to them, especially when you have big emotions. So, my go to is suppression. I don't like feeling angry or sad, and I just don't know how to navigate it. But envy is a different thing because growing up, I never directly expressed envy. So, I never directly got reprimanded for my envy. So it's not really a harsh emotion or a dirty emotion that I feel guilty about. And in fact, sometimes it can be the driving force of what like makes me want to do something, because I'm like, I want what they have, let me get my version of that. Like it actually fuels my action. And I do think, like, again, like Mars is like the planet of action. And the reason why I've been reflecting on it is we just got out of Aries season, and Mars is doing a lot of crazy stuff right now. But like my Mars is in Cancer. A lot of my driving forces, like a lot of what like fuels me to do stuff, is my emotions. So often like anger will make me do something. That's not true. Then the opposite side of it is that if an emotion is so intense and I don't really know how to navigate it, it stunts me, or like it immobilizes me. So like anger tends to immobilize me, sadness has immobilized me, but like sadness doesn't immobilize me the way anger does. Like I hate being angry. I don't know what to do about being angry. And it's technically a bad thing, but when people ask me, "Oh, how do you feel?" I'm like, "I'm fine." And they can sort of pick up that I'm being angry. It's because if you were to get it out of me, now what? Like, legitimately, now what are we gonna do? How do you stop being angry? You just let, like, that's another thing about emotions and like the tides and like these motifs, is that it's fleeting. You're not actually supposed to sit in an emotion forever. You're not happy forever. You're not sad forever. You're not angry forever. These are emotions are naturally instilled in us to be something that you hold on to for the moment, to inform your decisions in the moment. And when the moment passes, the moment passes. So for me, it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to suppress it because it disappears. For the most part, I don't actually stay angry at things that got me angry. And then the thing is that if it re-agitates me, then technically I'm just as angry as before, maybe even more, because like it just digs up the one that I buried. But for the most part, emotions are fleeting. So if I like suppression, I feel like, I know it's not the best, like it's maladaptive, fine, whatever. But I think it's I've made it this far. I've made it this far. Technically, I've had some encounters with anger. Like it's getting harder to suppress emotions the older I get. True. I think I've had two outbursts in the past 5 years that would have gone really south really fast if I didn't have a better support system than I do. But I'm not going to talk about that. Anyways, I say this to say that sometimes these really dark or intense emotions really like they immobilize me. Like I am a very jealous person, and I know jealousy and envy are not the same thing, but like I am jealous of this girl that I met like one time, and she's a very beautiful girl. I told her she was beautiful, and she got a modeling contract. And I was like, "Oh, that was always a dream for me. I always wanted to get a modeling contract and then, travel the world and get to walk fashion houses and get known for being beautiful." And that wasn't me. And that really hurt. And that immobilized me for like a good month. And I mean, I might have posted here or there, but like there was just like it snuffed out a fire in me. Like I don't know, like it really hurt. And it's really rare that wanting something that other people want is something that wanting something that other people have is something where I'm just like, and like it does that to me. Like it's I don't even exactly, like, I'm aware of envy. And I think that's another part about like awareness that you could potentially say that I'm lacking. I don't know how to communicate my emotions. I know what it's called. I know the root of it, but I don't know how to communicate them thoroughly. But it's really rare that when someone has something that I want, I directly want what they have. Like I just want my version of it, because I understand that everyone is living their own lives, and I never really envy other people's lives. Like I'm very happy to have my life, and I know that everything that will come into my life is meant for me, and I can't just like fit into someone else's life. That is their life. But like that was the first time that I was like, oh, like this is gonna follow me. Like this is not something that's gonna be, oh yeah, well, my moment will come. Like no, I genuinely feel like my moment has passed. It's just not gonna happen, and that really hurts. I'm also okay. So I put two celebrities. I'm jealous of Zara Larson because I noticed that Midnight Sun is technically a spell, and like the sun motifs, luminaries, gravitational pull. Sun is source. People gravitate towards sun. Sun motifs literally, like she had a proper call and response, like call and response with the universe, because when you talk about sun motifs, like ever never ending midnight sun, it's like generating energy, like, and the fact that she can travel from the north hemisphere to the south hemisphere, back to the north and the south, like she has something that will keep her going for as long as she wants to. And I'm just like, that was so smart. And could I have made that song? No, I think part of the reason why it fit for her is because of her Swedish heritage. Like they have weird hours because they're so up north and on the pole. Like made sense. It fit for her. And I want that. Like, so I want to have a call and response with the sun. It's my moon sign. Um, and in fact, that's why, because I have an EP and it's not that good. And I have a lot of theories of why it's not good. And I will discuss one of them here. But like I had an EP and I had the cover, like I wanted the cover to be warm, yellow, and oranges because that's like the sun, that's like the energy of the sun. And I want to have a call and response with the universe that involves the sun, but that's not entirely me. And I know that. But it's just, it hasn't completely clicked the way that it has for other people, like the way that it has for Zara Larson. Like I really admire that spell. And I know, like, I'm saying spell because that's legitimately how I perceive the world. I know that it's not specifically like a spell, but I do think like music in general is some type of spell. Like she did something really amazing and I wish I had that. And then the other person that I'm like, oh wow, like damn, I'm really jealous is like Pink Pantheress because she's another awkward girl. And that's another thing. People who have it right now, they've been working at it and working at it. And I know that technically I've been on and off since 2020, officially been more like intentional since 2024. So it's only been 2 years, but it's like it can be so demoralizing sometimes. Like it can be just so discouraging. Sometimes it is like, oh, like this is gonna take forever. And I know that part of the reason why it takes so long is for the universe to check if you really want it. But like, yeah, like I look at Pink Panthers and I'm like, I know that she's been working at this for a while. It's not like she's grown. Like this is not her that we learned from the very beginning. Like she's grown as an artist. And oh yeah, like I'm gonna title this I'm Not the Birthday. Coachella week 2, it was literally her birthday. And I can see how much she's grown as an artist. Like it's really awesome. And it's like, oh, like, why isn't that me? And then I was also class of 2020, and first week of April, people are going to prom. And normally, like the prom and graduation things don't really bother me until they do, like very, very, very late. But like, I think I was just hit with that envy just because the girl who's a model happened like in March. Zara Larson happened maybe the beginning of the year when I was like looking at the esoteric stuff about the sun motifs, and I was like, oh, right. Pink Pantheress, it's on and off all the time, but I think seeing her at Coachella, meeting Taemin, wow. And I'm gonna see her today. I'm going to her concert in Dallas today. Um, but yeah, like I'm not the birthday, you know what I mean? Why can't it be me? Um, it's not my birthday, it's not my solar return. Like people call birthday solar return. So it's another like sun luminary motif. Like you're not the moment. You know, the lights, the sun is not in its exact what it got by ooh, degree. It's not, this is not your degree. Like this is not your angle. This is not your moment. This is not your angle. This is not your moment. Like it's not my birthday. And I don't know. The thing about the sun and its motif counterparts is yes, they're the center, but also they have responsibility. I think I did bring it up how like gravity, the sun is pulling on us, yes, but we're also pulling on the sun. Gravity isn't just there to feed its ego, but to maintain form. And this also has to do with the Saturn motifs that I'm always talking about. Just find any video, I'm always talking about Saturn at some point. But the sun needs its planets just as much as the planets needs the sun. It's one of if one of the planets like Mercury, Jupiter, whatever, like if one of the planets was to just like venture off by itself, the equation, like the solar system's equation would be off and everything would fall apart into disarray. And I think this might have to like play, like this has to do with form. Cause like sometimes I do think like without the gravity, because gravity pulls our forms together. It causes us to have our bodily forms. It's what causes the earth to be round, the earth's gravity for itself, right? To be centered in yourself, to know self. So I do think that I probably need a search with those motifs about how gravity, when you have gravity of your own, it literally establishes who you are within yourself, but then also gravity when it's between other people. And the sun is responsible for all the planets in its planetary system. It has to keep them in a orbit safe to travel in the not the solar system, the galaxy, the universe. Without the sun, we would be flying all over the place. There would be disorder, potentially we'd be destroyed. And I do think that's part of the reason why as smarty pants or as much esoteric knowledge that I get into, like, I do really believe in some form of a divine planner, because there's a lot of intention that has, like, I mean, happy incidents, I get it, but I'm probably agnostic. I never really put that into words, but like, there was someone who designed this. Like, there's too many equations, there's too many things that could have went wrong for it not to have gone wrong, that this equation has been so perfect. But I say this to say, I compare myself to all these other successful luminaries. And when I'm saying luminaries, I'm talking about celebrities, because not everyone has a Cancer placement or a Leo placement. And I would even say Jupiter is an honorary luminary body, because it is the biggest planet. Like, real, actually, no, this is a real planet. Jupiter is a real planet. It is the biggest in our solar system. So sometimes I see people with Sagittarius placements and I'm like, you're low-key a luminary. You don't really function like the light luminaries, like light, like emitting light luminaries. And I compare myself to all sorts of luminaries and celebrities and family members and all sorts of people. Like, I will even say there was something, oh, I envy young couples. I didn't date in high school, and sometimes I see high school couples, and that's why, because there's a conversation about people who peak in high school, or like losers who are in high school and they end up being predators. Sometimes I'm really worried about that, but it's not that I would ever be chasing a young child. No, it's that I would be chasing the feeling. Like, I want to find that feeling of young love, high school love, and someone who's my age mate. And I just, again, like, I'm not the birthday, I'm not the moment. That moment has passed. Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I just get to sit in that depressive thought, and it's really sad sometimes. But I envy young couples. I envy graduating classes sometimes. I envy prom dresses, specifically the prom dresses. And I think this has to do with Carrie, and it also has to do with Pearl, right? Because there are so many people who are talented. You know what I mean? There are so many people who are talented, and it just seems like the universe knows exactly who is the select few who gets to make it. And sometimes I think of Pearl, because it's like all that like manic pixie ENFP energy that I used to have, and I think it's dying in me, and it's low-key sad. Um, where they it sort of make they find out they're not, like, Carrie was set up, but like Pearl finding out that she's not as talented as the people, like, she can't get out of that small town. You know what I mean? And she finds out, oh, like, I'm just gonna have to settle. And I get worried that that's gonna be me, because again, I'm pretty aware. Like, the worst part about me is that I'm always going to be aware, that I'm always, I hold, like, I know what's going on around me. I'm just not a very active person. I think I have another script where I'm going to say that I'm a thinker, not a doer. And in a world like this, that really means nothing. Okay, I thought about this, I thought about this. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, I have to upload YouTube. Like, I have to upload on YouTube, because that is doing something. It's not just sitting in my room thinking, connecting the dots, having fun with myself. Like, these thoughts mean nothing if I'm not sharing it with another person, if I'm not creating gravity between other people. But again, successful luminaries, we're all mirrors of each other. I have another script somewhere where I say, I like, in the core of it, like the thesis, like the core of the thing that I'm branching out on is the phrase, I hate when an ugly bitch calls me twin. Because we're all mirrors of each other. So I feel like I would be the ugly bitch who's like, oh yeah, like Pink Panthers and me were literally sisters, because we're both Kenyan. And I know, like, my mom, when I brought it up, I was like, yeah, her mom's Luo. She was like, so her dad's British, so she's British because patriarchy, whatever. Whatever. We know it's a matriarchy. We know it's a matriarchy, but yeah, I'm the ugly bitch. I'm the ugly twin. I'm the ugly duckling. A duckling. I call myself Lucky Ducky. I need to also address this whole conversation about birds, because I mean, I am a duck. Yes, I'm actually a platypus, but I call myself a duck because I love bird motifs. I love the ugly duckling, and then there's another bird in, like, well, the ugly duckling is a swan. There's another bird. Oh, mother goose. Because I just told you Cancer has to do with the symbolic mother. Yeah, I like bird motifs. I am not a bird. And I just talked about how I want to chase the feeling of young love, but I would never be a bird. You're not going to play in my face. And I think that's actually part of the reason why I'm like, as much, exactly, like, anytime I'm envious, I'm like, at least I didn't have to, like, the pros and cons of a situation. Young love, they play in your face. And I know they're playing in our face now, but like, we're growner. So it's not the same mess that you have to go through in high school. So I want to chase the feeling of young love. Actually, the phrase that I've said is puppy love. I I want just like an innocent love story with someone my age. I just want one. And I wish I had had it in middle school because that's more normal. Because I feel like there's just, I don't know, like one relationship, because I think in this era in our life, and I know there are some subsects of culture, I would say Christians still date and like sex is not on the table. And I think that's really awesome. I'm not Christian like that. And I mean, dating a Christian boy would be fun, I guess. Maybe that's what I'll do. But that's sort of kind of unfair because Christians tend to date for marriage. So it'd feel like I'm wasting their time. Exactly. I'm just like, it would have been better had I done it in high school. But even high school, like sometimes people have like this idea that we should start having sex. But like, I just want one innocent puppy love situation. And I understand when you say puppy love, they're like, puppy love makes puppies. That's not what I'm saying. I just want one, like not shallow, but just innocent, childish, sort of, kind of, but not with a child. I know a lot of people like losers, and that's the thing. I'm so scared that I might be falling into a loser archetype because technically that, whatever, but I could never do that to myself. I don't know. Like I love myself so much that I know exactly what I want, but I can sometimes see versions of what I want in other people. And I'm just like, oh damn, like I would even settle for that. And that's the thing. Like I'm settling, but and the core, like the root of what I'm saying about like this whole gravity and the gravity of emotions is that there is responsibility when you have gravity. Like the sun is responsible for our solar system. The moon is not the moon. The moon is responsible for our tides, but like even the Earth's gravity on us. The Earth is the reason why we are grounded. Like the Earth is the reason why we have a home. You know what I mean? Mother Earth, right? There is a responsibility that I'm just aware that I'm not ready for. I consistently hermit, and in fact, like engaging with community, constantly socializing seems to be so taxing on me. And it makes me feel guilty because it's like I love people, I really do. But like I guess it's just because it's a performance and it's not a state of being. Like I'm consistently performing for people, and that's not healthy for my psyche. That's not healthy for me. That's not healthy for the gravity of me being able to establish myself, right? Because I'm just putting on a mask for this person, putting on a mask for another person. And I mean, I think that I'm authentic. There's a version of me that expresses itself authentically itself, expresses myself authentically, but we often wear masks. That's just how it is in this world. Like we are often playing roles. Like gender is a role, race is a role. I'm trying to think of other constructs, but like we're performing. What did RuPaul say? We're all born naked and the rest is drag. Like what does it mean to be self? What does it mean, like, to be a person is more abstract than we really let ourselves like understand, because we need those titles, we need those identities, we need those gravities, we need those definitions to establish ourselves. And sometimes it can be restrictive. I see myself as a girl, that's not really the problem. I don't know what about the way I present myself. I think it's because I present myself as someone who doesn't get angry. That's true, but I do feel anger. I just don't express anger. So maybe I should start addressing it the way I address anger. Because I told the girl who modeled it, I was like, oh, I'm so envious of you, but I don't want to be. I don't want no bad energy. I like telling people I'm jealous of them. I don't know. Because it's not a dirty emotion, and I feel like just laying it out in the open. It's like, so if I ever do something, you're just like, oh, blah 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 blah. Like I don't know. I just don't want it to be buried within me. So then maybe subconsciously or consciously, I'm trying to what's the word, sabotage you. I just like you to know, but I also know that that's the thing. People say, "Oh, that's a form of manipulation," and I'm just like, any expression of emotion is manipulation. If someone's sad and you go up to them like, "Well, I'm really happy about blah blah blah," that's obviously manipulative. Often, and you can even see it in babies. Back to the mother motifs or whatever, right? Babies will literally mirror, and mirroring is a motif that I'm seeing about luminaries, and especially since it has to do with bugs, with like their form of zombieism. I'll explain it another day, but like babies will literally mirror their mother's emotions. So often babies are fussy because their mother is going through postpartum. Well, that's not exactly the case, but there are cases where women go through postpartum, so then the baby is upset. And because the baby is upset, it's like a feedback loop. So like that's why you need community to come in and like mediate when a mother is like obviously re-regulating her hormones. So like there's just a lot going on in her body and her mind or whatever, and be able to help that baby also understand, like not mirror the depression. So it's not a bad feedback loop, but like babies will literally mirror emotions. We literally mirror emotions. If you see that someone's happy or if you see that someone's laughing, you start laughing, even if you don't really get the joke, because it's like not almost social proofing, but like it's just something that we inherently do. If people are crying, you feel bad. When people are angry, that will make you angry. Like, why are you angry? Like, it's just part of the experience that, yeah, when you express an emotion, it will shift the gravity of the room. It will shift the gravity of the situation. So either way, I could have been like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you," blah blah blah. But deep down, I'm feeling really envious. I like putting my jealousy out in the open. That's why I'm telling you right now. Any celebrity who Leah Interlude used to be one. Pink Panther, as I told you, Zara Larson is a new one. There's another one that every once in a while I'll see that I'm just like, that should have been me. There's another one, but like I feel jealousy about just about anyone, and I like telling people, "Oh, I'm jealous," because why not? And I think maybe that should just be the case with anger, where because I don't really emote emotions or I don't know how to emote emotions, maybe I can just like deadpan, almost like smiley go. And I'm really upset right now, like I'm really angry, and then it's like weird because it obviously shifts the room, and because I'm not really expressing it typically, but I guess the first step that I could do is just announce that I'm feeling an emotion. Oh, I think I just had a breakthrough. Yay! Okay, but yeah, I'm not ready for the responsibility of interacting with people. I interact I Oh wait, I already said that part. I choose suppression out of survival. I think I chose suppression out of survival. I was chastised for feeling sad sometimes. I was chastised for being angry. I feel like there's another oh, expressing lust or like love. I don't really know how to express and this is like I'm glad that I'm technically not a sex pest, but technically I feel like I've harassed some people. So my bad. I'll if I will absolutely like apologize if someone was to tell me, "Hey, like that situation didn't make me feel comfortable." I will apologize. But yeah, like I'm just not really human. Sometimes it really worries me, which is something that I have grazed upon on my video Young Ho Cooks Everything on High, where it's just more so like I don't think I allow myself to emote, to experience, to live. Another thing that people are always saying is like, "Oh, it doesn't really feel like you want to play the game of life." That's true. Like where is it? I chose suppression out of survival and convenience. I chose a lie. So I can't really live my life because I've settled. Like I've just settled into like this state of like not mediocrity. Well, yeah, mediocrity, but just like monotoneness where it's just like the only safe emotion is happiness, maybe some mild sadness, but nothing too intense where it's just like, no, like you have all these things like I need to be allowed to be sad even if it's not logical because it's real. One of the things that I think it is like the only real like I really do understand is like every emotion is valid. What becomes invalid? No, the emotion will always be valid, but what becomes like invalid is how you navigate that emotion. If you get violent or belligerent on someone, that is not a valid reaction. That is not a valid management of your anger. But the anger is real. You have every right to feel angry. You have every right to feel sad. You have every right to feel happy. You have every right to feel envious. How are we going to go about this? And for me recently, um, it just seems like it's been immobilizing me, and that's not the move. Like yeah, like sometimes to sit, and I think this is like me sitting with it, analyzing it, really coming to terms, like understanding it, like an awareness and such. But then the next point is management because you can't just sit there. It won't. Nothing will get done if you just sit there, right? So I'm avoidant and I'm agreeable. I am not a go getter. And that's the thing, like life will come to me, but it feels like my gravity is just not strong enough. Like I'm not a go-getter. And sometimes I think like I need to go, like I will put myself in mania, like it's maybe not diagnosable, probably. But like sometimes I feel like my most productive is when I'm mildly manic. I don't sleep. I'm go, go, go. I feel anxious. I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. And it's my most productive. But that's technically unhealthy to me. My default setting is I'm not a go-getter, life will come to me. And because I'm a luminary, but it's mostly a Cancer luminary, right? So it's a subtle pull. It's not as big as the sun. The sun causes our whole seasons. The moon, our tides. So it's a smaller gravity, but life will come to me. But yeah, it sometimes feels like my gravity is just not big enough, that there are bigger, grander, more vibrant people in this world, and that's why they're famous right now and I'm not. And I don't know, right? At the end of a star's life, it will explode or implode. And I think of all the creatives that don't make it, and I worry if that's going to be me, like the implosion. And I think technically, when I feel depressive and if like it's immobilizing me, it's like I'm stuck in quicksand or something. Like that's like a form of implosion, right? In my moments of envy, anger, depression, I'll cave into myself, and I don't. It's not a full implosion. It's just more so turtling, and I think turtling is also like a Cancer motif, but no one really talks about it directly as a Cancer motif, and it might be connected to another sign. But yeah, like sometimes I just go into myself. I hibernate. I love hibernation. Oh my god, I do. I love not existing. Like if I could be a bear, like that's how I know I'm gonna make it. There will come a day where I'm financially stable and I've done everything that I need to do. Spring, summer, fall. Winter comes along and you do not see me because I'm in my house. I do not leave my house. Maybe I leave my house for 2 hours to get my supplies or whatever, but I'm in my house. I legitimately want to be so financially stable that I'm allowed to hibernate in my house all winter for the rest of my life. That's how I know I'll make it. But like, I need my alone time. I need time to myself. I need to not exist in the context of other people. But I also understand that I need to interact with other people. That is part of my human experience. But yeah, like, I don't know. This is just the gravity of emotion. I have big emotions, but I will also say that the whole suppression thing has made me a bit numb. So sometimes I'll experience a situation, I'm like, I should be happy, but I'm not really feeling happy. But I know that I'm thinking happy, or, oh, this should make me sad, or this should make me anxious, but I'm not feeling it just yet. And then it'll hit me later, like a wave. It'll hit me later because I know I did a lot of psychological abuse to myself in middle school. And it'll always be there, whatever. But I hate being aware. I think it's the like being a thinker instead of doer. I hate technically knowing and always just knowing. But like I really can't the knowing doesn't hit where it's like I know what to do. I just know what's happening. I am actually experiencing life though. I will say that. But thank you so much for watching. This has just been me discussing my emotions and some things that have been like really heavy on me. Like I think it's always going to be heavy on me. And I think that's a really scary thought that even when I officially make it, like I have every sign and indicator that I've made it, that these feelings will always be there. And I think because those feelings will always be there, it's like, it's always valid. So, like, just learn them, understand them, see what its purpose is for, and go about it. But thank you so much for watching. This has been BB. I hope you like. If you did, like button. If you want to see more from me, I would recommend subscribing. And I would love to hear your point of view on luminaries, gravity, astrology, Cancer, Leo. Oh, and emotions like gravity. Yeah, like the what are some actually these are good leading questions. What are the harder emotions for you to experience? What are the easier emotions for you to experience? And do you have any advice for how I should navigate anger? Because I think that's the one. And you know, my mom recently said that a generational curse in her family is anger. And I was like, well, that's not really something that I deal with, but technically I have a problem with anger. It's just not blowing up in people's faces often, but I do. But yeah, do you have any advice? I would love to hear it. Thank you so much. Bye.